Hello everyone. Welcome to What of Deku. Had a soul, or darkened soul. What do I mean by this? I mean, we all know that a lot of things have been happening with my what ifs lately. Fewer of them have been coming out, so, yes. The reason is I don't have as much time anymore to make videos. I try my best to, make as much videos as I can. But anyways, besides that, this what if will be based on, I guess, some instances of Undertale with some instances of My Hero Academia. Unlike the, other skeletal, quirk and all the other BS that I created, this one would be different. Unlike getting abilities willy-nilly, Deku, on the other hand, he will be one of the few people that actually have an Undertale-related ability. The thing was, there will be two aspects that Deku will be fighting towards to become the #1 hero and other reasons. But mainly, think of error sands as the fates of death, or the fates of emotions, technically. And think as Chara as the part of you that is the greedy part, or the part of you that is your darkest parts, you would say. Your darkness, or your inner demons, you would say. Having their multiverse erased, there are only two survivors. Chara and Error. Oath to never speak to each other, but to always help the humans in some sort of standard, even if it's a twisted way of helping them. Which ends up happening to Deku. They've been forgotten for years. And they're only, like in books or myths, they are said to only be myths. Of course, that is when they are wrong. Deku birth is something normal, as this story ends up very different from everything. Hisashi is there, but only for a while. Only enough time until Deku is 5. When the time does come, Hisashi leaves Midoriya. Why? He wanted to know if his son was quirkless or not. And after finding out he was quirkless, grabbed the milk. Went to go get some milk. As there would be a ripple in Deku's sadness. Not by much, but still by some. As he would eventually know. In kindergarten, the difference in this what if from others is that Bakugo wouldn't get his quirk yet. Or would be more of lines nicer to Deku. And be a nicer person in general. As if he never got his quirk. Let's say in this what if Mitsuki actually, smashed some sense into, Bakugo. Making him a lot more nicer, or as I said before, never got his quirk. He still does have his quirk, but, he doesn't have his ego yet. Which isn't until he is 10. Which truly changes everything. Being friends with a Bakugo since the age of 10, or true friends at least, not bullies, on one-sided relationship. Bakugo would see that Deku, he believes Deku can become a hero. He truly does. Unlike Canon Bakugo. I bet even one day, Midoriya and Izuku, you can beat anyone as long as you're determined. You can probably even beat me one day. Saying this truthfully within his heart. He notices that Midoriya, at the sight of hearing this, he would feel saddened, knowing that only if it was possible for him. But he's quirkless. But Bakugo wouldn't care. He would help Deku a lot. Help train him or help build up his body and other things like that. Don't worry, my friend. I will help you towards the end. We're friends towards the end, remember? As him and Bakugo, this relationship would still be intact to the age of 10, of course. To the age of 10, that's when things really start to change for Bakugo. Bakugo would start to... This is when people start to increase Bakugo's ego a lot. In the enhancement of 5 years, Deku and Bakugo were no longer friends, due to the reasons of outside interference with, his comrades, or more like lackeys. They would tell Bakugo many things and eventually get his ego to Canon Bakugo, or more lines of a bit worse than Bakugo's personality and canon, which will lead off to the breakup relationship of Deku. Deku will be saddened by this, even though it will hurt him to see his friend become a hero now. But he knows deep inside Bakugo, that friend from 5 years ago is still in there. Or from before the time was still there. Nothing would change. Things would end up like canon, but a little bit worse. Of course, things would take a very slight and different turn. Deku, he would meet a lot of people in this timeline. And Deku would actually have a job as well. Unlike his canon counterpart, he would get a small job. And he would meet, a lot of good people. What would this job be? Well, it would be a kind of past, present thing. That's confusing. Practically, what happens is that he helps you review your past and how you can improve your future by seeing your past. Having you embrace your past, and after that, you should have no regrets from your past at all. You should have no regrets, no pain, no anything. But the thing was, when Deku did do this, he would gain memories that aren't his. Things that aren't or should not be in his brain. Memories, pain, emotions. As if he traded his own kindness and his own sympathy for those pains to remove them from the person. As eventually, a boy would walk up. A boy with 2 sides of hair. He would walk up, of course. He wouldn't believe in anything, but Deku has gotten a lot of good views lately. As Deku sees, nothing really big has actually happened to his mental state, at least not yet. He's seen bad things here and there, bad memories, but those memories are only slight memories. They're not bad as in, full regretful, but they still change Deku a little bit. As this boy would sit down, can you help me? Of course I can. That's what my job is. Now just put your hands on this glass ball. And in a few minutes, all of your regrets, your hate, and everything shall be taken away. Taken away. As this boy, half-haired boy, would do so, as a feather would appear. A feather floating onto this boy's head. It is completed. Todoroki wouldn't feel much at first, but as soon as he left, or as soon as his fingers left the glass ball, everything would feel calm, chillaxed, relaxed, and all the pain he suffered through the years has just vanished. As now we go to Deku's mindscape, he's seen these terrible memories of the number 2 hero abusing this poor young child. He would almost cry at the sight of his memories. At the sight of these memories. Yes, the person that, the owner of the memories will still have the memories. It's just they would have no restraint from them. As Deku would start crying, or shed a tear, from how crucial this boy's life was. As Todoroki would feel enlightened, as if it took off a mountain from his chest and back. As the happiness that once was Todoroki, before everything happened, was back. As the happiness that once had his soul chained up was now returned, lifting him off of space like an angel. Todoroki's personality would dramatically change to cruel, to unique and kind, being somewhat wise and friendly at first. Of course, though, once things happen, you always do have to fall back on Earth. Which, thankfully for Todoroki, the fall back from Earth wasn't far. As if it felt like he was in the galaxy miles away. But when he landed, it was only like 2 feet. Yes, he still he still had regrets, but it didn't stain him as much as it did. He did use his fire, and had no regrets using it, nor did he see it as his father's fire. He sees it as his own. Of course, meaning that he still dislikes his father, it's just not as bad. As we see the young man walk away from Deku's shop. Deku would have a smile as the boy is walking away, and a tear would come down his face, seeing these poor memories, the pain, the suffering that the boy has had to endure all these years. as there would be another, a black-haired individual that will also come up. Can I get hope, please? As for each emotion, or for each section, Deku, he practically, you have to buy what thing you want. Of course, it is cheap. It is very cheap. The maximum you pay is about $20 or $100 max. But even so, due to Deku's personality, he would have the dollars up to the 20s instead of hundreds to be nice to people. And after they leave Deku's shop, they really do feel like a changed person. Is this person with sharp teeth and red eyes who ask, "Can I gain hope, please?" I can do much more than that, my friend. Much more. Put your hands on the sphere, and I will read your memories to see what I must do. As he does so, and he sees the boy's memories, saddened by them, but not as worse as the one that came before him. Believe in yourself. As long as you can feel that you are alive, you know that you are doing something right. Live your life to the fullest. Have no regrets. Yes, they may be struggles, but there is no improvements without struggle. The more you struggle, the more you improve. For now, you shall be saddened, but as your ages go on, my friend, you will be like... you would be lifted from your throne into a true heaven. Of course, it is your choice if you want to stay down or fly like an angel. As once, this black-haired individual would lift his hands off the oracle, Kirishima would feel enlightened, as if his past and his hope was given to him. He embraced his past, felt what he needed to do, and from that day on, the Kirishima that we all know and love was born, but with the increase of purely hope and satisfaction with what he has been doing. He believes in himself beyond any other. As there was one last one he needed to visit. Or one visited him. A blonde-haired or brown-haired individual would visit him. It will be about nightfall. As an individual will walk up to his shop, asking, "What can I do?" "You need help, my child. Do not worry, for once you've gained the ability and determination and believe in yourself that you can indeed save your family, you will be able to do so. But of course, if you don't think so, it won't happen. And if you do believe so, it will happen. Be glad that the time has not come, but for when you choose to become a hero, technically, metaphorically, and mentally, that is when you will truly be saving yourself and others like you. As once Uraraka would take her hands off the orb, she would feel as if, with the determination, as if, if you've seen the sports festival, that is how determined Uraka is. So yes. As the day goes, as Deku's, these memories are saddened. Deku, it saddens Deku. But of course, with sadness and all of this, gains strength. As Deku feels like his body has increased itself somehow. Even though his mind is restrained by many memories that are not his, and feelings and emotions that are not his either, he feels that he accomplished something. Yes, he may feel these pains, but the happiness and smiles he gained from his customers change him. As he would walk home and see his mother, say hello, and eventually eat and fall asleep. In his dream, he would see his own memories with others, almost like a hallway, doors or portals to memories, portions of pain, regret and restraint, hate, anger, sadness, confusion. They will all be there. Deku would feel all of these emotions, but yet he would feel at ease, as if pulling these from other people would give him a sort of hope that yes, he may still be quirkless, but what he does makes people happy. And as long as his customers are happy, he can be happy as well. He's making a change dramatically in the timeline. Why? Todoroki would use his fire a lot more earlier, even before UA. Kirishima would be a lot more manlier and also have a lot more hope in his abilities. He would believe in himself, not be so down about his own quirk. Of course, Kirishima did dye his hair a little bit later in the timeline. But that is a little change, though. Yes, he still decided to dye his hair, because, red shark, so yeah. Dun dun dun. Okay, back to story. As Deku would hear a voice, would you be more of a voice in the back of his head, not able to hear it? Just more of a zzz, more of a bee noise, if anything else. Just a little pest on the air, which he swipes away. As the next day will come, Deku would feel tired. Of course, the memories do tame him down a bit. Seeing others' perspectives and whatnot. As for Bakugo, he refuses to do so, and refuses to see Deku as an equal anymore. Or, since 5 years ago, Bakugo has been completely different. More aggressive, less tamed. Of course, this will be the heaviest burden that Deku can ever see. As you would notice, Deku would notice something. All of these things that may happen may be because of the society that has been formed today. Or this century of society. But he pulls that thought aside. As the day will come, and the day ends, the teacher would pull up the papers, throw them in the air. As he would say the canon line, I know you all want to become heroes. As Bakugo does say the same thing, but more aggressive and, not inferior, but a lot more commanding of his voice. Which will bring a lot of people down, actually. But it wouldn't bring Deku down. He has to have this happen to him for 5 years, and he's immune to it by now, or what it seems. Even the pure souls can be tainted. But also the darkest souls can be redeemed. Deku would see this and say nothing. As all that would happen is the silence of the room, as Bakugo says his words, and throws at the end of the class. He would throw Deku's journal out of the window, as in canon. Deku would walk out and pick it up. Seeing these memories and seeing the change in Bakugo, saddened that such a pure, such a kind and innocent soul became such an angered and aggressive person, tainted by others' ego, those who cannot be helped, those who can never change, which are true. Which, once it does happen, Deku would go under the bridge, and the sludge villain would try to. But unlike what would happen, the sludge villain will be stopped by something. As midway, the sludge villain trying to touch Deku, the sludge villain will see memories of him, seeing that he can do better, and that the sludge villain doesn't have to always be a villain. Villains are just misunderstood, and that they should be helped. As the villain in Midoriya has locked minds, can see their clear thoughts at what they're thinking of right now. Villains are just misunderstood. Yes, a lot of them are evil, but are only forced due to others around them. For once, they were good and fragile. They were kind and pure, but the society has corrupted them into evil and nile. But even so, they are not evil. They are just broken and sad, confused, and need to be guided to places which they are not guided. I don't have other people. They are not guided. They need to be guided by others instead of put down by others. As the sludge villain will stop and reevaluate his life, regretting a lot of things, but at the same time knows what he has to do. As he stays still, as all you hear is, I am here. As the sludge villain would walk to All Might. I'm sorry for what I've done in my past. I cannot change for what I have done, but I can redeem myself by doing time. As that will be the meeting of Midoriya and All Might. As of course, once there's light, even in the brightest of lights, there is always a small bit of darkness within that light. Same with the other way around. As with all mights, due to the quirk of One for All, Deku's ability would go critical, almost. As soon as he touches All Might, he would see memories that aren't even All Mights. Memories that confuse Deku. Memories from the past, even at the beginning of quirks. Seeing the user's memories, the user of One for All's memories, and the deaths that they hold. Seeing the secrets that the ability itself has. Crying as the pain from the power in the touch of All Might would release. As if that was only the slap. As, yes, Midoriya did still faint. But those slaps, as first touching All Might, would give Deku a new reason to become a hero. For the One for All memories, all of the users will feel something within this boy. Feel a hope, even if it's not them themselves, they still feel a hope within this boy. As they see their own memories and their anchored souls are no more. All they have is justice and for what is right. Yes, they still regret their past. That makes them who they are. But it doesn't burden them as much as it did before. Same with All Might. He does not believe that it is his fault for her death, for Nana Shimura's death anymore. And even changes his mind. Instead of trying to kill All for One, maybe try to help him before. But if he cannot be helped, then it must be done. As within seconds, the ability would go away. As if All Might in that 1 minute of heaven vanished. As all those regrets will return. As if the quirk One for All itself was canceling out Deku's abilities. But of course, though, they do feel this light weight off of them. Unlike before, it is a lot more smaller portion, but, it's still there. As for Deku's mental state right now, is a little bit uneased. Of course, does understand some parts of what's happening. A great evil called All for One attacked. And that is when everything changed. The creation of All for One and One for All. The fights, everything. He wouldn't say anything, but he'll know a lot of things about it. As Deku would do the same thing as in canon. And the same thing would occur. No, you cannot become a hero. And this will set off the users of One for All, but at the same time, they would understand. A person with no quirk cannot help. Is more of a burden than a help. This did not sit right with Deku. As for what his heart desired was more than enough. Deku would walk away crying, but still be determined, even if it means destroying himself. He would walk away, even more determined to prove them wrong, but be saddened dramatically. As there will be an explosion heard as Deku would run towards it, getting out his notebook and ready to write something down. As he would see that it would be Katsuki Bakugo studying the villain. Actually, no, that wouldn't happen. More of a counteracting that. Yes, that would not happen. So there's no second attack, now that I think about it. But for reasons, I do have to say, the Sludge Blood attack may or might not happen due to Deku's ability. He does run and do the same thing as in Canon with the Sludge Villain, but the difference would be that the Sludge Villain wouldn't want to hurt Deku. Even if those memories and those lifting of weights would be for a short time. He would see that Deku isn't one to attack. That the boy is just pure, just wants to help everyone. And the Sludge Villain would think it would be possible, so he would not attack the boy, but would defend himself from being hurt from the boy. Ending up in a confusion of many heroes. As all the heroes see the Sludge Villain restrain himself from attacking the boy.
Listen, kid.
It doesn't matter what you do. As long as you're like me, I can't be helped. Go, walk away.
I don't want to hurt you, kid.
You showed me true peace. But as long as people like them exist, I can't change. It's only if the others accept me and accept the change. Then just act as if I am a monster. As everyone will hear this and listen. One ear, not the other, practically. Deku will tell them, even if you do make mistakes now, you can still change and be who you want to be. You can be a cook, you can be a police officer, you can be anything you want as long as you have hope, bravery, and use determination to do so. As they would talk back and forth for a bit, the Sludge Villain would eventually let go of Bakugo willingly. As the Takano Jitsu over 9,000 will commence, as the Sludge Villain will feel very bad. And once more, for a few seconds, the Sludge Villain would feel regret. And he would, go into the crowd of heroes and be taken to a prison or be arrested. As people, as in canon, will tell him that you shouldn't have done that. But the thing was, Deku didn't really care on their opinions. He knew what must have been done, and none of them were doing anything about it. So it was only right if it was done so. As All Might, feeling bad for what he's done and what he said to this boy, he regrets it with a heavy toll. As if the instance of him saying no bit him in the head. And as if All for One was right there. He regretted everything. And to make up for it, he would make this boy his successor. As for the events, All Might will slide in through the street.
Yes, you can become a hero.
As he would spit out blood, and that entire funny act would occur. So, would you like to be my successor, young Midoriya? As Midoriya would be pleased, but be conflicted due to, if it wasn't for that event, All Might would have never seen him, like the way of the light. Which, yes, didn't satisfy him, but he knew it must have been done, that he can even without a quirk, he can do help, but with a quirk will be even more better to help others. As he says yes. And that is where the beginning of the story truly begins. As in the 10 months, Deku, unlike his counterpart, will be a bit stronger, able to control 10% of One For All. Completely, without any restraint. Any higher of a percentage will start breaking Deku immediately. Would be a very, very strong toll on his body. Of course, it's only a 5% increase, but that 5% increase can be a very good thing. As he wouldn't just get the trash, he would also learn vocality. Of course, after breaking his arm, the only difference is that his arm would kind of not regenerate, but it would kind of heal. It would be weird. It'd be slowly healing over time. As it would only take Deku a month to clean everything. Which completely surprised All Might. But after they were done, they struggled on what to do next. As everything, there would be a lot less trash due to Deku in the past fixing Dagobah Beach and cleaning everything before. So with the power, he was able to clean it up. Even without it, he was able to clean up under a month. Deku and All Might would now go to the gym doing actual training. Deku would be given a list of foods he should eat to gain better body. As he would do so, as this canon Deku would have muscle mass 3 times to twice the strength of canon Midoriya in that time. Or more of lines of twice, a very big 2 times. This would help Midoriya a lot. And he would gain actual muscle, lean muscle, with a little buffiness to it. Maybe increasing an inch in height. From how strong he is training, or how hard he is training in the gym. But that is all he would have gained. And as the time went on, it seems that every month went by like a day to Midoriya. As once the sun set for the 10th day, it would have been the entrance exam. As if all those months were fit into days almost. Or what Midoriya saw, the months were days. Or practically what he seemed was 10 days, but in actuality, there were 10 months. Flashed in his eyes. As the entrance exam would be announced, Midoriya would go, and he would see how much progress he would have gained. Midoriya would have eventually gotten a couple points. I'd say twice the amount of points, or just a couple more, 5 more 0-pointers, not 0-pointers, but 5 more 3-pointer robots, or 2-pointer robots, or 1-pointer robots. A couple points more than his counterpart. Of course, that would be until the 0-pointer would arrive. As President Mike would say, go, 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 as Midoriya would run in taking down robots left and right. And then this time, Midoriya would take up boxing classes and self-defense classes to guide him in fighting. So unlike All Might, Deku would have a technique of his own, mixing a round of karate, taekwondo, and boxing all together in a fighting stance, and in practically his own type of fighting style. Using his feet and arms at perfect precision. At the time will come, the 0 pointer in Nezu would press the button, and the 0 pointer would come out. Everyone will be running, but one. As Deku would see a familiar face screaming, "Help!" As this would determine Deku to work even harder than he did in canon. As the percentages of one for all increased 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. The power of Deku's body, the muscles will start to spaz, but not to the point of uncontrollability. Of course, this would increase Deku's body to 1 more %. As Deku's body will start to take strain and will start impulsing his muscles a little bit to a hurting degree, but with the adrenaline burning in Deku's veins right now, Deku wouldn't feel the after effects until the adrenaline wore off. As he would throw the rock at the 0 pointer's head, paralyzing it for a couple seconds, as saving Uraraka, and then punching the 0 pointer. As in canon, the only difference is that the only thing broken would be Deku's arm. And due to Deku still being a little, he's still learning his technique. He's still trying to work on his techniques, which will mean his entire arm isn't shattered, but is in critical condition. Which eventually, after falling and having, Deku use one of his foots to kind of crash the fall, using one for all, which kind of broke his foot and one of his arms instead of his, entire, both arms and both legs. Recovery Girl will kiss him, and, her quirk will activate, which will heal Deku. As Deku's arm and leg will feel not brand new, with some restraint, yes, but will feel healed, just with a little numbness to it. As, of course, him and Uraraka will meet up once more. As, hey, didn't you come near my shop? As, they'll start to talk a little bit. About 3 minutes conversation. And that's where they left off. That is where they would go back home. As someone would notice this act, as All Might will be very proud of Midoriya.
My young successor, such a young child, and can have a good and perfect attitude at the right time. And has a lot of potential.
As that is the end of All Might talking. Aizawa would claim the boy to his classroom. Immediately. He would see a lot of potential in Midoriya. As All Might, he was proud of Midoriya, not just because he defeated the 0 pointer, but because he made and tried to make his own fighting style, which is still in working progress. Not very good, but it's still in working progress. Of course, though, there are a lot of differences. When Midoriya comes home, you'd see a very familiar face. As he sees his mother, Mitsuki, and Bakugo. As the Mitsukis or Bakugos will be coming over to chat with Inko. Which will lead to another as they go inside. And, they all talk. Inko would question Deku on when did he get his quirk. As Deku said, he got it in 10 months ago, he would say. And 10 months and a couple of days ago. And after that is where I will end off this What If. Or this part. Thank you everyone for watching. And I'll see you all later.